Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Disney Deconstructed podcast. I'm your host, Lain Calder. I'm back, and I am joined by my good friend, Spencer Bennett.
Hello. It seems like I am the only consistent
host, bro.
Yeah, I'm here all the time. That's because I do nothing with my life.
Yeah, oh my god. Nah, man, you do plenty.
I do my best.
Yeah, I was camping in New Hampshire today. Jake is busy with work, so it's just gonna be Spencer and I hanging out, getting caught up on stuff because there's been a lot of news, man.
There's been quite a bit of news.
There's been quite a bit. There was a Mandalorian trailer for season 2. That's exciting.
Yes.
There was a WandaVision trailer. We finally got a trailer for this thing that is apparently still bookmarked for 2020, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it they shot, but that's
yeah. Hong Kong Disneyland is opening on September 25th. The date that we're recording this is the 23rd, so maybe it's already open by the time this gets posted. We've been busy, folks. Life is crazy right now. I'm about to move across the country again.
Where are you moving now?
I'm moving to LA, man.
Dude, what?
Yeah, we'll get caught up when we're not recording. But it's likely that I'll be in LA fairly soon. So just it's been fucking crazy, people, as I'm sure that everyone's lives are right now. And so Hong Kong Disneyland is opening in a couple days. This leaves Disneyland California, good old Waltz Park, as the last one to open for this whole COVID shit. And then there's a bunch of movies that are getting delayed again. There's a bunch of theories about what's going to happen with Soul, which I think it's the next Pixar movie that's coming out, but it's also, I think, the next Disney movie in general, supposedly.
Yeah, that sounds right.
I don't know. Maybe there's one we're forgetting. I saw New Mutants because in New Hampshire and Maine and whatnot, some theaters are open in that upper New England area. So I went and I saw New Mutants, and I'm excited to talk about it. I don't think we're gonna get into like spoilers, because I know that you, Spencer, and Jake still want to see it before we
at some point.
Before we give it, and Kieran, right? Shout out to the other podcast. Go check it out. Plug it, Spencer.
New Adventures of K-Man and Spence. It's a whole lot of fun.
Boom. So go check that out. We're really getting up and going with the Deconstructed Podcast Network. So make sure you check out those other shows, folks. Link in the description.
It'll be there.
Pretty heinous plug there. And then this is episode 49, as listeners would be kindly to note. So that means that the next episode is our 50th.
Wow.
Pretty crazy. We've been
doing this too long.
We've been doing this since October of 2018. And so we're nearly 2 years into it. Just about. And boy, has it been a fun ride. 50 episodes.
We've done quite a bit. We had all not been to Walt Disney World. And then now we've all been to Walt Disney World. We've seen quite a bit of movies. We've done.
I had only met Jake in person once.
It's true.
Isn't that weird?
We went to the opening of Pixar Pier together.
Yeah.
We'll reflect on that next time.
Reflections. So next episode will probably be some sort of party type thing. I don't know, some sort of celebration. Maybe we'll have some special guests and stuff that longtime listeners may recognize. So yeah, we'll figure out something fun to do. So you haven't seen Mulan yet, right?
No. Have you seen Mulan?
No. Okay, so so I know that everyone's probably like mad that we haven't talked about Mulan yet. It's been out for a couple weeks now, but we still none of us have seen it. So we'll get on that at some point, maybe after the 50th.
You said on the top of the show, life has been crazy. There's been a lot of things I envisioned myself doing that I have not done yet.
Life has been fucked. It's so crazy right now. Anyway, that's kind of, I think we'll probably wrap it up with the New Mutants. And yeah, I mean, I'd love to start out by talking about Disneyland, if you're all right with that, Spencer.
Yeah.
So Disneyland, as we mentioned, is pretty much going to be the last one to open. We were trying to figure out before the show if Paris has opened yet. We think it has. If anyone is in Europe and knows better, make sure to hit us up on Twitter. But Disneyland has been trying to open, it seems like, for a while, and it seems like Disney execs are trying to wrap in California government to assist Disneyland in reopening with the guidelines that Governor Newsom has laid out. Spencer, I think you know more about like what exactly has gone on a bit, probably just because based on the fact that you're in California right now.
I'm also in Orange County.
Yeah, so get me caught up to date, man.
Yeah, so yesterday or the day before, I think it might have been Monday actually, they had like a whole press conference with Josh D'Amaro and a couple other like executives for Disney, and they talked about how they've safely opened the rest of the parks. There's been no transmissions in Florida. Hong Kong hasn't opened yet, but Tokyo, I think Paris is confirmed open. I'm not like 100% sure, but basically Josh D'Amaro said we've done a great job opening. We've had no trouble in downtown Disney. Like, he kind of was calling out Gavin Newsom a little bit, like, hey man, let us open. California has been in a really interesting spot because, like you said, they wanted to open Disneyland in July. They announced a date before they like collaborated with the government to kind of almost pressure them. At least that's what it seemed from the outside.
Right.
To kind of build up that hype so that California would kind of agree to it. And they didn't, which is interesting because, you know, Disney typically has a whole lot of power over California, especially Southern California. They're obviously like the biggest entertainment conglomerate like around right now,
especially in Anaheim.
Yeah. And the mayor of Anaheim was on the stream and he was like, our economy is like destroyed, like so many, because if you're not from Anaheim, if you've never been to Disneyland kind of runs the commerce of the city. It brings people in. They have like Harbor Boulevard, which is the street Disneyland's on. It's just like covered by like tourist shops and restaurants that are always busy by default of the fact that they're across the street from Disneyland.
Hotels.
So if you don't have, tons of hotels. So if you don't have that huge thing that's bringing in an influx of people,
right,
you kind of crumble. And Anaheim, I mean, I have driven through Anaheim a couple times. I'm in Orange, which is about 15 minutes away. But I've been through Anaheim a couple times and driven by the resort, and it's a ghost town. I mean, I don't think that they're lying when they say that their economy is tanking. I think it is.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Which is so kind of weird because Anaheim, as Californians, and especially Southern Californians know, like Anaheim has a love-hate relationship with Disneyland. Just like a lot of locals really don't like it, don't like that Disneyland runs the thing. I've always kind of seen it where it's like, well, Anaheim wouldn't really be a city if Disneyland wasn't there. It would probably, I mean, it would probably be like suburbs right now instead of like
the fact
touristy
that it's like a
shit,
giant metropolitan area.
Yeah, it would. I'll say this: it would not have a MLB baseball team if Disneyland did not exist,
or an NHL hockey team. They have a lot because of Disneyland being there. It has put it on the map, so to speak.
Yeah.
Anaheim is also like one of the third or fourth biggest city in Southern California, at least. It's like LA, like Anaheim area, and then San Diego. So it's really kind of the city of Anaheim and Disney is weird. Sometimes they're like buddy, and right now it seems like they're fighting for the same thing. I think as Anaheim is like realizing again, like, oh right, we need you a lot. But normally they do like fight them on things because the locals don't love Disneyland. It's weird. It's very complicated. Sometimes it's
very
sense,
weird,
sometimes
very convoluted. It's like,
it is, as are most things. But Josh D'Amaro on the live stream Monday actually said, like, into the camera, it's time for Disneyland to open, and that of course lit the world on fire. There was tons of conflicting tweets, and people were like, theme parks aren't essential, it's not safe, and I'm like, maybe correct. And then also like, but Anaheim's economy is crumbling and like they need Disneyland. I'm like, also correct. So I don't know where the answer is.
It's a vicious double-edged sword.
It totally is. And I think Josh D'Amaro did have a point in talking about how they've safely opened the other resorts and there hasn't been any transitions. I mean, that's undoubtedly impressive
Yeah.
to be in a pandemic and open a theme park and be doing a great job. Now, whether or not that's the truth, who knows?
Yeah.
Because if we know anything about major companies, it's that they will bend the truth to their arguments sometimes. That's just the nature of capitalism and wanting to make money. Now, I like to think Disney has pure intentions because if you look behind me, I'm a giant fan, and we have the show. But I don't know. I'm not in those rooms, and I'm also not a politician knowledgeable enough about COVID like Gavin Newsom to make that decision. But it's super strange and super fascinating. I miss the heck out of Disneyland, but I also don't want to get sick, and I don't want to get other people sick if I get sick. And it's tough. I think even the numbers in California continue to drop, and Orange County, I think, got placed on red now. And the school I go to, Chapman, is planning on phased in-person classes again in October. So they're slowly but surely opening it. And I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know when is the threshold when we're all just like okay with going out again and when we're not. Because there are some people I know that are fine right now. Like they're not really nervous about anything, which is smart or dumb. You make that call yourself, but they're doing that. My household is a little more reserved. We're very kind of open with each other about who we're seeing, who we're like not distancing from. So I don't know. It's very, California is in a weird spot. So you coming to LA is going to be a very interesting development, Lain.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing some chilling.
Yeah, honestly. Also, great hair, by the way, man. I see her growing it out quite a bit.
It's kind of happened by default. I just haven't gotten a haircut, and there's no place to get a haircut. And then I was like, you know what? Senior year of high school, none of you know anything about my life, but I had long hair.
Oh, dude, it was so long.
it was a big old like Aquaman mane.
Yeah, it really was.
And, now, I mean, I think I've cleaned it up a couple times myself, and it looks okay. But
yeah.
It is what it is.
It's passable for sure.
It's passable. That's a good way to put
it. So yeah, Disneyland's kind of up in the air. What are you gonna do? I think that California, I don't think the state is necessarily doing anything wrong by being ultra careful because
absolutely not. No,
they tried to lax shit up and then people started getting sick. So what are you gonna do?
Disneyland was gearing to open in July. Everything was open again in June, and I was like, oh, so we're done. And then it like reared back up with a vengeance, and everyone was like, "Nope, we're not done." And
so that's that. A lot of movies got delayed again. If we just a quick transition right now, a lot of movies got delayed again, which is not a surprise. I think like literally 2 or 3 episodes ago, the three of us were just talking about how everything was going to get delayed again. So, again, we're just really smart people. And you should believe everything we say.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm sticking to my guns that I don't think we're going to see a theatrical Disney movie until 2021.
Yeah, no way.
I think especially with how Tenet did, the Christopher Nolan movie that he was fighting Warner Brothers on, they actually dropped it in theaters, and they're not releasing the numbers for obvious reasons because they're probably abysmal. And I know New Mutants Disney kind of wrote off, so I don't think they really cared that much. That's why
Disney didn't give a fuck about New Mutants,
and I don't really consider that a Disney film. But like a Soul or a Black Widow, or I don't know what else was to come out this year, like Raya and the Last Dragon,
Jungle Cruise,
like they're all getting delayed substantially. The only one that hasn't been delayed, which you talked about at the top of the show, one of the topics, is Soul. And there's a huge rumor right now that Soul's going to go to Disney Plus, because whereas Mulan didn't seem to be ultra successful because they're not talking about the numbers, Onward was.
Right.
So it's maybe it's just Mulan. People weren't that excited for that movie. Maybe the remake craze is dying down a little bit. I think people got to, especially with like the AMC A-list and programs like that, people got into the habit of going to the movie theaters so much.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, like I was going weekly, and I didn't even have a subscription. There were so many movies to see that I was like, whatever. I
had A-list, and I was going every week because in Boston there was an AMC a block away from me. So why would I not?
Right, like there's something else to do. Go catch a movie. But in the case now, where people are going to be, I imagine for a while, much more selective with how they even leave their home, and if they're going to go see a movie, it's going to be like a really big movie they need to see. And I think in the case of Mulan, the hype for that just kind of died. People were like, eh.
I think so. I think that I know that this happened for me, but I think that a lot of people kind of got. Yeah, I think you're right in saying that the craze died down, but a lot of people kind of got fed up almost with the live action remakes. I feel like after Lion King specifically, because like all the other ones, I felt like there could be like some sort of argument for them, like Beauty and the Beast. It was basically the same thing, but I liked it. I know that Jake hates it, but there's like some sort of argument to be made. Like Dumbo, hey, here's a movie that's kind of hard to watch now because it's racist.
It's true.
And, but kind of modernizing it and remaking it to be woke, it's like, and
I loved the ending of that movie. And I think
Yeah.
if you're bringing in Tim Burton is always like a decent idea because you're going to get something different than what you had before. Tim Burton is such a unique style.
Yeah, I was like, there were parts of the movie that I didn't like.
It's not perfect.
Yeah, it's not a perfect movie, but it's definitely like, it's one of the ones that you can kind of argue for. Lion King, there was no argument for that. Like, everyone was like, why do we need this? It's not like the movie's old, really.
It hasn't like aged at all. I
it hasn't.
Semi recently, and it's still incredible, and it's
Yeah.
still like the Lion King, which seems to be like in like the gold, like the god tier of Disney films.
Right.
It was one of those things where everyone was excited about the voice cast at first, and then I think slowly but surely we all were like, by trailers, we're like, oh, this is just going to be the exact same movie, and it is. It's the exact same movie, but like with lions that can't emote because they look like lions and not drawings. And it just was weird. I liked, like I said, the voice cast was good. Lion King is just odd, and it did kind of break me a little bit too. Because there was just, I'm fine with them if they do something at least kind of different. Like Aladdin, I loved Aladdin, and Aladdin is very similar to the animation, but I really loved all the visual aesthetic of like Bollywood. I thought that was a really interesting angle to take, and the movie ends with a big dance number, like pretty much how all Bollywood films end. Based on my very limited knowledge of Bollywood, I took a history of film course. I watched a couple Bollywood movies. Seems like a really cool thing. But that was
you do a lot of that in film school.
You do a whole lot of stuff like that.
Watching weird foreign movies. I remember I had to watch a Mexican low budget independent Mexican sci-fi movie.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, like it was all in Spanish. The movie was kind of trash, but you watch a lot of that just out there shit in film school. You were saying?
True. Yes. But at least like in the case of like an Aladdin, they did something different with it. But that's my issue with Beauty and the Beast is like, it's not that I like it because it's the same movie, but I just don't get why they did it. And then I understand why they did it. It's called money. But in Lion King, it's just like printing money. Yeah. I don't know. Mulan seemed different enough. So I guess maybe my argument doesn't hold up with that one. But I think with Mulan, they took away the stuff people liked about Mulan. And they almost like, from what I heard, they didn't lean fully into like the gritty war aspect of it. Oof. It was kind of just like a weird vanilla movie instead of having a big musical.
It's a weird, one of those mixed swirl cones.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those weird things. But
vanilla and chocolate.
Yeah. Back to the main topic. We started. Black Widow being delayed and all these other movies being delayed. Not surprising. They did delay Shang-Chi by like 2 months. And that was supposed to come out in 2021 anyway. And people were tweeting about that. I was like, okay, who cares?
They're probably
movies have been delayed a year.
Right. They're definitely just trying to like get some good spacing. Because if you're Disney, you're like, oh, we can't have Shang-Chi, a Marvel movie, released only like 3 weeks after. I don't know what's another movie that's supposed to come out next year. Black Widow. Well, yeah. Even if they're different, even if it was a Pixar movie, and a Marvel movie,
you're not going to make as much money if they're not.
Right. You're going to distract people from going to one of them when they could be going to the other.
Tell you what, one bright side of this is we're going to get like 9 Disney films next year.
Yeah.
Which is going to be there's going to be so many movies to see. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
Which I think cool, but like I wish we didn't get to that conclusion through the worst thing ever.
Right. I think that as far as Soul goes, I don't know. I can see Disney Plus happening, but to be honest, I feel like Disney made. Obviously, they haven't shown numbers or anything, but I feel like Disney made more money from Onward being on like Amazon Prime Cinema. Is that what it was? I feel like they made more money from that than they did by releasing Mulan as premiere access on Disney Plus.
Yeah, that model doesn't seem like it worked. And
No.
it was always kind of strange to add it on top of Disney Plus. The Onward model, you're right, I didn't really think about that, is significantly, at least makes more sense to me. You drop it on Prime Cinema for like $20 to rent, 25 to own.
Yeah, because
And
if you're not
then
doing that, you're kind of doing the Apple TV issue where it's like you're kind of restricting people. It's like it's like you're trying to do something between Apple TV Plus and HBO or something where you're like trying to get that exclusivity, but
Mhm.
also like you're just kind of stranding a bunch of people who maybe can't afford Disney Plus uh, every month, you know? So I feel like I can definitely see them going back to what they did with Onward, having Soul be on Prime Cinema and then hop over to Disney Plus afterwards. Or I think Onward even stayed on Prime Cinema for a while for people that didn't have Disney Plus. Uh,
yeah.
but then it kind of Onward kind of became a bit of a Disney Plus like platform seller, where it's like, hey, you can watch this movie for free if you pay the whatever the monthly thing is. Uh, and I feel like that probably worked a lot better and probably sold more Disney Plus subscriptions than Mulan did. So
Yeah. I would agree.
yeah, I could definitely see them going back to that. Maybe they try to like change the premiere access thing a bit. Maybe just don't
Yeah.
charge as much.
I think the price was pretty steep.
Yeah, the
As
price
much
was
as
steep. Wasn't it
as
like
much as
20?
it was 30.
30? 30. Oh my
Yeah, as
god.
much as I like attempted to rationalize it on previous shows, because like a family of four goes to a movie, gets snacks. It's like more than $30.
Yeah.
Just that number. If you're scrolling through Disney Plus and you go, oh hey look, Mulan, and it says $29.99 to unlock.
Yeah.
That is an imposing number. Like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty nuts. If you break it down, like I understand how it can cost that much, and they're trying to cover their losses as much as they can.
Mhm.
But here's the thing, like you're just not gonna. You're not gonna fully cover like you may like break even, but like you're just not gonna make as much money. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Going to the movie theater is an activity people do. You're not gonna break that number just by sitting in your house watching it. You can still make some money, and at least keep a brand going. Which is why I think they might put Soul up, because Soul probably wasn't gonna cross $1 billion. I mean, that'd be pretty nuts. It's an animated film.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot unless it's Frozen.
Yeah, Frozen. Yeah. Uh so moving on a bit from that, let's talk about WandaVision for a sec.
Let us talk about WandaVision.
Let's talk about this, and then I think after that we'll talk a bit about Mandalorian. Did you like analyze the trailer with Jake last episode? I haven't gotten a chance
Mandalorian?
to listen to it. Yeah.
No,
No.
I'm not sure if the trailer came out actually. I think
Oh,
you might
okay.
have.
Gotcha.
We just talked about the season announcement coming out.
Oh, okay, cool. So we'll talk a bit about WandaVision, then just hop over and talk about Mandalorian. The WandaVision trailer was cool. I dug it. The thing looks whack as fuck, but
Yeah.
I dig it. Like I'll definitely try it out. Which I honestly initially I was like, I don't really think I'm gonna watch the Marvel shows, just because like they're kind of announcing quite a few of them. But this show looks pretty good. I don't know, like I don't really understand what's going on. I doubt many people do.
Yeah, I have no clue.
But you've got Vision and Wanda, being a like 50s TV couple, and then also being their superhero selves. And that's kind of all I think we know about it. Besides the fact that like Vision is alive again. I think they kind of mentioned that in the trailer. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean it looks fun and I'm gonna watch it, I think.
Yeah.
I'm bad with TV. Sometimes I just end up not watching series just because they just take so long to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But it looked interesting. I don't have, again, like you said, I have no idea what's going on. Are they like trapped in a sitcom parallel universe thing? I really like their costumes. I know Twitter went crazy about their costumes. I think Wanda's like very like cheap, old looking red dress.
Yeah.
That looked kind of neat.
Yeah.
It looked like a Halloween costume almost, which I kind of dig. I'm like, be cheesy like a 50s thing. Okay, I'm in.
Yeah, I do think that, I don't know, like what you said about like they're like trapped in some weird television dimension or something like that. That kind of was the vibe.
Yeah. And I think you have a movie coming out like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and Marvel really has nowhere to go but weird at this point.
Yeah.
So let's do it. Who cares? Comic books are weird, people. If you don't actively read comic books, like they do crazy shit a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for that to be translated to the big screen, especially because I think Marvel has built up that amount of trust with its audience that if this TV show starts and Wanda goes, "Why are we trapped in a parallel universe created by Doctor Doom?" And they're like, 50s television. Like, let's do it. I'm in. I'm down.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. This morning I was making breakfast, and it like popped in my head. I was like, man, I'm excited for Batman. Like I'm so excited for the Batman. I know that we haven't really mentioned it much on the show because it's a Disney show. But goddamn, I'm excited for that movie. It looks so cool.
There's so much cool stuff coming down the pipeline from DC specifically and from Marvel as well.
Yeah. I got HBO Max.
Hey, I also have it. It's cool.
Yeah. They had like a sale where it was like $12 instead of 14 or something like that. So.
Well, I'm upset because I pay 14.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said anything.
Not cool, man.
I don't know, like it's kind of hard to say anything else about the WandaVision trailer. Obviously, it kind of is pretty much a teaser. Just kind of let you know, hey, this is still happening.
I'm more. The news to me more was that they're still shooting for 2020.
Right.
Because at least from what the reports I remember, I didn't think they finished shooting the series. And I don't know if they think they're going to be able to. Maybe it's a super low effects show. It's supposed to be like a 50s sitcom. Maybe they can shoot in October and have it edited by, say, December. That's definitely like a really fast turnaround. But if there's very low digital effects, I mean, it's definitely doable. You can edit something that quick. I mean, it's not that hard to edit shots together.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember whether or not they finished filming, but I thought that they were like still like in production in some way, whether it's actual physical production or post-production or something. That's the last that I thought we heard about it. And they released that teaser that was like coming soon to Disney Plus, and it had like a bunch of movies and shows, and then at the very end there's like a shot where it's WandaVision, and everyone was like, oh no, like a WandaVision's still coming in 2020, and then they of course released the trailer, which can kind of confirm that. So we'll definitely see. It'll be interesting to see if you can like kind of tell through the show progression, like that it got kind of fucked by COVID, but
they had to cut this line.
Something like that. Yeah. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, as with everything on this show, I guess we'll have to wait and see. We're gonna take a quick break, folks, and we'll be right back, and we'll talk about our good friend the Mandalorian, our good friend Pedro Pascal. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the show. We are talking about The Mandalorian. There's a trailer that came out. Maybe you saw it.
Maybe.
But so season 2 of The Mandalorian is officially coming out in October. That's next month. Holy shit.
When they announced the news, I was like, wow, okay, thank goodness. There's something to look forward to. October 30th, too, like the day before Halloween, they're going to break the world with episode 1.
That's so sick. I can't wait. That's really cool, actually, that they're still able to get it out with COVID and everything.
Well, they started shooting it like the minute it dropped last year. So that was the one show that I didn't think was in any trouble because they just started production so quickly.
True. That's how Star Wars be. Star Wars always like films so early because they got so much special effects and stuff, you know.
And they just know that they're gonna make money because Star Wars. Yeah,
that's true. But anyway, this trailer didn't show off a whole lot. In the beginning, I remember the Mandalorians ship the what's it called? The something.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, the ship. It's
the ship. Razor Crest. That's what. Yes. So the Razor Crest is damaged, flying towards a planet, and then we've got more of the child. There's a mysterious wizard-looking woman that everyone was kind of freaking out about. A lot of people think it might be someone from Rebels, I think. But hey, here's a crazy thought, people. Maybe it's an original character. Who knows?
Could be.
But you're probably right. It's probably someone from Rebels. But anyway, and that's kind of, I mean, we saw a bit more of Giancarlo Esposito,
Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon, I think, yeah. Which I'm watching Better Call Saul right now, and he's in that. And yeah, he's an amazing actor.
Pretty good in everything I've seen him in.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see more of him because he really only came in the last like 2 episodes of the season.
He kind of revealed himself to be like the big antagonist.
Yeah, the big baddie.
Obviously, he has the Darksaber, and that's gonna, I'm sure, pay off in this season.
Yeah, for sure.
God, I can't believe it's been a year already. Good Lord.
Yeah. The Darksaber is definitely like the gun over the mantle of this show. It's like, something better happen with that at some point. But I'm super pumped. Obviously, I really loved the first season. I love the first season more than I love a lot of Star Wars movies. Because it's just fucking good. And it won a bunch of Emmys.
I saw that. Yeah, I did not watch the Emmys because I was watching Sunday Night Football because the Seahawks were playing, and I'm a big Seahawks guy. But
big Hawks, go Hawks.
Go Hawks. There it is. But yeah, I heard it did win a bunch of Emmys. I mean, that makes sense. It's a very well done TV show. It was extremely popular for a reason. It launched Disney Plus. It launched a whole bunch of stuff. So makes sense to me.
And I think that there's so many rumors about this second season. There was a big thing we were talking about with Jake a bit about like outside of the show. And he was telling us how like there's supposedly a bunch of drama surrounding Pedro Pascal.
That's been an internet thing, yeah,
and like how he walked off set halfway through, so the second half of the season isn't going to have many people, and that's why Ahsoka's in it and shit like that. And I don't really believe all that because Pedro Pascal's making a lot of fucking money on this thing,
and
so
like
why would he do that?
They revealed he's not even on set.
Yeah,
it's someone else in the suit.
Yeah, it's someone else.
Yeah, and he's just lending the voice. So I mean,
most of his job is just doing voiceover work.
He's just in a booth. Now, is it possible that he had some troubles on set? Sure. There's often some tensions on set. That happens. If you're working with the same people for 12 hours a day for a month, people can become annoying. I mean, if you ever had roommates, it happens. Like it's just when you're subjected to someone's like full like idiosyncrasies and everything all the time, it can like wear you down. But I don't really think it was as big as if there's any drama at all. I doubt it's even near the level of controversy people were giving it. And also like Ahsoka was announced a long time ago.
Honestly,
I don't think that was like a last minute, oh no, bring Ahsoka Tano in. Like I get that she's a very popular legacy character, but it feels pretty organic for her to be in it. If they announced like Luke was in it, I'd be like, okay, that's pretty wild. What the heck's going on here? But Ahsoka, like that makes sense. She's in pretty much every Star Wars series that isn't a movie. She's in it, or she is referenced.
It kind of
pretty
carries
big
over.
Part of the universe. So I think, I mean, in the trailer they talk about the Mando's like, I have to take him to a planet I have to find these lost sorcerers, and I'm like, well, for me, that's obviously Ahsoka. That's where the child's gonna go. He's gonna go find Ahsoka and like the last remaining Jedi. Mark Hamill, I would kill for an appearance. High doubts. But
high doubts. They would have to de-age him.
Well, that's true. How soon after The Force Awakens is this set? Because in The Force Awakens he looks pretty old.
No, this takes place in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens.
Yeah, right. So like how long after Return of the Jedi?
I think it's like 10 years after. Something like that.
Luke wouldn't age that much because Force Awakens is like 30 years after.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd have to de-age him. Maybe get Sebastian Stan. So everyone's been saying forever.
Yeah. He like straight up looks like young Mark Hamill. It's kind of crazy.
Make up him and do his hair and stuff. He could look Luke-ish.
Yeah. I would definitely. I'd accept that. Because
Boba Fett though is like confirmed for the series.
Yeah, Boba Fett is
sure.
absolutely going to be in it. Which should be interesting. I don't know. We'll see.
I think that will be an interesting like debate because Boba Fett wears the Mandalorian armor, but he doesn't do like that. This is the way thing. He's not like a traditional Mandalorian. So
Yeah,
I think there will probably be some tension there. Maybe he's like the rebel, like the black sheep
right.
of the
Yeah.
group.
It's like you don't want to be another Boba, do you? Type
Yeah,
thing.
maybe that'll happen. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah. It's like, oh, that's very Boba Fett of you.
I don't know how I'd feel if he became like a figure of speech. Even though we
um,
do say when a character dies in a movie horribly, you're like, he was Boba Fetted.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Um, other things like the Gina Carano shit.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was so for those that don't know, like a lot of big celebrities were putting their pronouns in the description of their Twitter bios. And I think it started with like like don't take everything we say as like what happened because we only heard it through other people and social media, which can be very misleading, obviously.
Telephone game.
But yeah, for real, it seems like Pedro Pascal updated his Twitter bio to say he him and Gina Carano, a lot of people were like bugging her every day, like messaging her asking when she was going to do it because Pedro had done it. And apparently she like tweeted that Pedro Pascal kind of had to explain to her what it was, like, oh, well, this is just to show support for the community and that sort of thing. That's why I did it. And then she posted beep bop boop, right? Like beep / bop / boop as her pronouns.
Something, yeah.
On her Twitter. I think that's what it was. And people obviously didn't take that very well.
No.
So that was a whole thing. I think, did she ever like apologize for it? Do you know?
I think she tweeted like, my friends educated me, so like I respect if you put them in your bio, but I won't.
Yeah, but I
like
won't.
thing.
Yeah, she says like she supports the community and all, but she's not gonna do it.
Yeah, I don't know why recently so many prominent celebrities are choosing to die on that hill. I really don't think it's that much trouble to just use inclusive language personally.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like why are you fighting this battle? It doesn't really feel like it's worth like petitioning against. Like it's, oh no, you had to put a couple extra words in your Twitter bio to just like be kind. I don't get it, but it wasn't great, and I know a lot of people want her kind of off the show and stuff now, and that's ultimately Disney's call, and
it is ultimately their
sucks because I
call.
really liked her as Cara Dune in the first season, and like I would like to see that character again, but obviously there are things that are bigger than entertainment. And I don't know.
How they just like fuck it, when all that like James Gunn shit happened, they just instantly cut him loose, and then like stuff like this happens and they're like, it's like it's very whatever they feel like doing in response.
No, totally. And like even this isn't Disney, but in Warner Brothers side, Ezra Miller like choked a girl. There's like a video of him like choking a girl. I mean, they were like in an altercation in Iceland or something, and we don't know the full story. But like that video is there, and they haven't really even commented on it, and he's still the Flash. And I'm like, okay, so are we just like picking and choosing our battles? Politics aside, the show should be happy. But there's a lot of weird controversy and double standards in Hollywood. Right now, it seems.
Famous people and how they get away with shit.
They do get away with things. That is a thing.
So I don't know. Well, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if Jon Favreau got a call and then called Gina Carano and was like, hey, you need to fix this right now. And maybe that prompted her to post that response.
Aware of it, like the creative team on that show and just
absolutely
Disney, like, they're aware of it. I'm sure,
for sure. Yeah, that's probably like as much as we need to talk about that. I'm super pumped for this season.
Of course,
gotta love Star Wars trailers and how they really just give nothing away.
Absolutely nothing. It's just visuals. I remember I was walking through my living room and my roommates were like, "Hey, we're gonna watch the Mandalorian trailer," and I was like, "I don't want to watch it. Spoilers." And I was like, "This is Star Wars. What the spoilers in this?" And it's just images.
Yeah,
it's just Baby Yoda. Although the only cool thing I was like, okay, Jedi. They're doing Jedi.
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm down to see what happened to the Jedi.
he goes to that
Post.
ice planet, which a lot of
True.
people think is, what's it called? Ilium, something like
Ilum?
that, I think. Uh, but it's the planet where you get your kyber crystal.
Ooh.
That's
Dude,
like
if
where all
Baby
the
Yoda is wielding a lightsaber in this, I'm in.
yeah, a lot of
I
I
think
think
he's gonna get
that's
the dark saber. That's like the main theory, and he's gonna
okay.
be like a Mandalorian Jedi thing.
Ooh,
Down,
yeah,
super down.
absolutely. That's an interesting theory. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. But yeah, a lot of people think it's that planet where Jedi have to go and have the crystal choose them choose the crystal type thing. Um, and yeah, so that would be cool. A lot of interesting theories about that. We're not obviously not going to go into all of them. So yeah, Mandalorian season 2, we're super stoked. We'll definitely talk about it as the season progresses. What, October 30th, right?
October 30th, the day before
All right.
Halloween. It's a
So
Friday. And they're
yeah.
doing it weekly. I think I said on the show last time with Jake that I thought it was going to be all at once. I was wrong. I'm wrong often. It's weekly. So just clearing that up.
All
Don't
right.
use me as a source of information to Google things. I just sometimes say things. So there you go.
Okay. I think all we got left is New Mutants, right?
Oh, yes. I'm ready to
Oh
hear
yeah.
this. What did you think?
Okay. So let me retrace real quick because it's been about a week since I've seen it. Yes. Okay. New Mutants is fun. I had a pretty good time. I thought it was pretty good. My girlfriend Sharon, she really liked it.
Wow.
So it's definitely it's a very interesting movie, and it's definitely very different from anything that Fox and slash Disney has done as of recent.
Mm.
It's definitely like it's a superhero movie with definitely a horror like sub genre of it about it.
That's what was always interesting about it to me because I like
Yeah,
horror a lot. So
yeah, and that is continuously interesting throughout it. Again, I'm not gonna really go into spoilers because I assume that pretty much no one listening has seen it, and Spencer and Jake haven't seen it. So uh, at some point, we'll definitely do a deep dive into it, I hope. But as for non-spoiler material, it is fast paced. It's like faster paced than you would think it is because it's kind of a horror movie, so you'd think it'd be kind of like a slow burn thing. It's not. It's kind of like you. I almost wish that most of the scenes got another few seconds to breathe because a lot of times it felt like you were kind of being thrown into a scene where it's like, oh, these two characters are talking. Switch to this character who's about to be scared, and you like know it's about to happen, and then they get scared, and then it switches back real quick, and they're in the middle of their conversation. Whereas like they didn't. A lot of times the tension for the scares don't quite get built enough. You know what I mean?
mm,
And so I feel like that possibly could have been done better. I do obviously everyone knows that this movie had a lot of reshoots and just production fucking hell. Uh,
right.
and so I was trying to keep that in mind. But you can kind of feel like, oh, maybe they like cut this out or something, because a lot of people thought that this was going to be rated R. It's PG-13, um,
Mm,
and you can definitely see moments where it's like, oh, this could be going R, and then it kind of like doesn't. And I feel like maybe there was rated R type stuff in it that they cut out, whether to, try to make it more accessible to audiences, which is kind of a weird argument at this point from the studio that did Deadpool, but and Logan.
it's true.
But
Yeah, there's quite a few.
I what I really really enjoyed about the movie is that it's very much its own thing. It's kind of like Logan almost in that sense, but they mentioned the X-Men maybe twice, maybe three
Oh,
times.
that's cool.
But other than that, it's just that it's really just their story. Um, and another thing that I absolutely admired about it was that it was super diverse. Um, you've got the main character is a Native American girl.
Really,
Yeah,
that's
and
cool.
then there's a the guy from Stranger Things, the older brother, he's in it, and he plays like a Kentucky white guy. So they're American there. And then not American. They got their American there. And then there's, I think, an Irish girl. And then I think he was Brazilian, a Brazilian guy. And then they have a Latina woman as the doctor, I believe. If I remember correctly, I think that's all. Oh, and then they had a Russian girl. So really just kind of all over, and I really, really admired that about it. I'm trying to, I don't think it's quite a spoiler, but there is like some gay activity in the movie. I don't think that's really been announced. Was really like talked about before it came out. So there is some gay subject material in that. So yeah, it was really kind of an all-inclusive superhero movie, and that was really cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I wasn't expecting that going into it. I really only watched like one or two of the trailers, and I wasn't sure who was the main character through all of it. But it gets inclusion right. Let's say like this is probably one of the first superhero movies that has really gone out of its way to try to be, 21st century inclusive. So super huge props to that. I think another thing I really liked was that, I guess just the theme of it. A lot of the movie is about fear, which makes sense because it's a scary movie sometimes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and so a lot of it is playing with fear and how, your powers as a superhero can be scary. They, sometimes they don't help people, sometimes they ruin people's lives, and trying to figure out the balance with that. It was just a really cool topic. It's not something you really see in a superhero movie very much, but it was definitely kind of had that dark side about it. And it was pretty good. I think that's probably kind of where I want to leave it off, because I can't really say much more without getting into like spoilers. But yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. Yeah. So that's the New Mutants. If you're in a place where theaters are open, maybe go see it if you're comfortable with that. But other than that, I think that we'll probably talk about it once once everyone on the show gets to see it.
Wider viewing.
Viewing, yeah. Yeah, I had to drive into Maine to see it, so. But it was good. I liked it. I think that's probably where we're gonna end it off today, folks. I think we've pretty much gotten caught up with all the news. There was a lot.
We did our best.
We did our very best. Sorry that Jake couldn't be here, but our next episode is our 50th, so we will be doing something special. We're gonna try to come up with an activity. We might, maybe try to reach out to people on Twitter to see what they would like to do, something like that. So keep your eyes peeled on Twitter. But I think we're going to end things off there for this episode because we're out of time. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Disney Deconstructed podcast. And if you'd like to support our program, you can do that by going on the podcast service that you're currently using and giving us a thumbs up, 5 stars, 2 mouse ears, or whatever qualifies as a good rating to you. You can also visit us on anchor.fm/Disney Deconstructed. There you can see all of our episodes, the podcast distributors that we're available on, and even send us messages related to the show. Make sure to check out the rest of the Deconstructed Podcast Network, link in the description. And guess what? We're on Twitter, so feel free to follow us at Lain Calder, at JakeMoody98, and at SpencerBennett7. We do a lot of polls and conversation starters that are generally related to the upcoming episodes of the podcast. So if you'd like to take part in that, then make sure to follow us. You can also spread the word by telling a friend about our show and help us grow our community of Disney fanatics. Again, thank you for listening, and we'll see you with more Disney news next week. Writing, producing, and editing for this episode of the Disney Deconstructed podcast was done by my two co-hosts, Jake Mooney and Spencer Bennett, and myself, Lain Calder. The music for our program was composed by Brandon LaBelle. The font for our logo was designed by Edward Pincava, and our beautiful faces were drawn by Sarah Bermudez. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you down the bayou.